knew, of course, that I had been addicted to the opiates, and she was concerned, and she brought me his book and talked to me heart to heart and asked me if I would be willing to go through the detox.
And what was your answer?
Yes, of course.
And you mentioned Debbie Lloyd. Can you please explain to the jury who she is?
Oh, Debbie Lloyd is a nurse who my doctor, Dr. Kipper, had assigned to my case.
We're going to switch streams right now.
All right, thank you.
Answer.
Seated. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, your next
course.
question.
Thank you.
Hold on a second, folks.
Mr. Depp, who's Dr. Kipper?
Dr. Kipper is a he's been my doctor ever since I'd met him in, I believe it was that May of 2014, or around there in Boston.
And why were you connected with Dr. Kipper?
My sister
There it is.
Christy knew, of course, that I had been addicted to the opiates, and she was concerned, and she brought me his book and talked to me heart to heart and asked me if I would be willing to go through the detox.
And what was your answer?
Yes, of course.
And you mentioned Debbie Lloyd. Can you please explain to the jury who she is?
Oh, Debbie Lloyd is a nurse who my doctor, Dr. Kipper, had assigned to my case to be the to oversee the detox and
Hey guys, how are you?
deliver the medications to me that would help with my with the effects of withdrawal that one goes through, to essentially try and knock you out so that you don't go through the nastiness of the affair.
Did Miss Lloyd stay on after the detox process as your nurse?
Yes, she did.
And when you were under Dr. Kipper's care, how often did you see Miss Lloyd?
On location every day. Yes, on location every day. Even when after a year or two, I was still seeing her at least on
Hey, thanks for the support. I appreciate it.
bi-weekly basis, 2 to 3 times a week.
When did you start the detox process that you mentioned?
Hey Kim, how are you?
I know that I believe it was in August, July or August of 2015, 14. I cannot remember the year. 14, I guess.
And where did you do this detox process?
Both my videos today are demonetized covering this. It makes it very hard to cover this if YouTube's just going to demonetize us.
Process happened on. I have a a place in the Bahamas.
See, you can see right there.
I'm
Demonetized.
never comfortable saying this, but it's an island. It's a very strange thing to say. But I thought that that would be the best place, the most private place where there were no worries of.
He detoxed on his private island in the Bahamas. Amazing.
So it was a place where I could literally be the only place where I can have actual anonymity. So I thought that would be the best place to do it.
Who came with you
Hey,
down
Bruce.
to the island for the detox?
Nurse Debbie Lloyd traveled with me on the plane. Ms. Hurd. And I believe that was it. On the plane to go to the island for the detox, I was not bringing security. I was not bringing assistance. In fact, initially, my sister Christy.
No, there's no idea why it's demonetized.
Go there to help Ms. Lloyd and the doctor through the detox, which made perfect sense since that the whole thing had been born out of her desire for me to get clean. So initially it was supposed to be Christy coming in place of Ms. Hurd. There was a great part of me that was very uncomfortable with Ms. Hurd coming along for that detox, because as things could fluctuate very rapidly in our relationship, I was wary that those things would come up during.
Yeah, I'm fighting the demonetization, but by the time it gets approved, it'll be tomorrow, and it'll be too late.
Detoxification of these substances, and I was well aware that it was not going to be pleasant. I was well aware that I was going to go through quite a bit of physical changes, physical. Yes, I was afraid that it would be too much for her, and I also felt that she might be too much.
Hey, Sarah, how are you?
For me at the time.
So then why did Ms. Hurd come down to the island with you during the detox process?
She insisted. And she switched places with Christy.
Could you please describe for the jury, Mr. Depp, what it feels like to go through a detox from opioids?
I would say the best way to describe it is it feels like it feels like the inside of you, the very inside of you, is trying to escape the body. So it becomes obviously very physical, and so therefore you'll go into a withdrawal would mean that you would go into you'd have immense cramps in your stomach, your muscles would seize, my body would shake. The pain is like nothing I've ever experienced before. part of it was, so the best way to explain it, for example, there was a situation that when we were on the island and I was going through the detox, and it was hitting pretty hard at that point. And Ms. Heard had made a deal with Nurse Debbie and Dr. Kipper to stay at their end of the island, and that she would administer the drugs to me, administer the medications that I needed to not go into for lack of a better word, these intense, sharp, painful heebie-jeebies.
For anyone who cares, who watches my Bachelor channel, I know not everyone here is a Bachelor fan, but I'm just, real quickly, I'll tell you, I'm making a thumbnail right now. This is what we do on the Patreon. Let's go to tertiary display. So I'm making a thumbnail for a video that I will be uploading momentarily to the Bachelor YouTube channel.
They go straight for the jugular. I mean, like I said, when your receptors are in full bloom and begging for the substance, the drug, the opiates that my body had become used to, these receptors that were being fed by. There was a moment when it was coming on very fast, and I was sitting on the couch in the little house that we all saw on the island. Miss Heard was at she was in the sort of kitchen area, and she was chopping vegetables, I remember. And I think it was around 2:30 in the afternoon, and the effects of the withdrawals were really coming on. And I said to Miss Heard, I'm going to need the meds now. And she said, she looked at the clock and she said, "It's not time." And I said, no, you don't understand. This is not about clocks and watches and things. I'm going into the ship, and it was visible. And
trying to fix the sink.
I hate saying this, and I hate to have to admit this, but that was, I believe that was about the lowest point in my life. That was the lowest I'd ever felt as a human being, because I had to say, please, may I have the meds, because it's really kicking in. And she was adamant, no, it's not time. So in explaining how these withdrawals start to take over your body, when I was begging at that point for the meds, I found that I had sort of rolled off the couch, and I was sitting on the floor crying. Tears streaming down my face, begging another human being to please give me the meds that will take this away. And she would not. She was adamant that, nope, it's not time, 4 o'clock. So the only thing that one can do in that situation is you have to trick the body. You have to manipulate your body out away from those well, you have to trick the body to get away from the receptors. So the only thing that one can do is you go straight to the shower, and you put it on scalding water, and you stand underneath the scalding shower, and essentially you're burning the top, your skin is burning from the heat of the water. And what that would do is it would trick the nerves away from the receptors, because they had an immediate problem that needed to be dealt with, the nerves. So what it does is the scalding shower would reverse those nerve endings, and they would go up to the top of the skin, because there was a problem there. So that's how I was able to bypass those withdrawal symptoms at times. It doesn't fully take them away, but what it does is it tricks your body into thinking that there's something going horribly wrong on top. So it keeps them away from the receptors. After that, I had a conversation with Nurse Debbie and with Dr. Kipper, and I said, I don't believe, I told them that she had denied me the meds when I was in need, and then I told them that I don't think that this is going to work here anymore. I think we have to leave the island, and I need to be, she can't be with me while I'm going through the rest of this detoxification. So I told them we should leave the island. I asked them if they understood what I was doing, and they did. So we went back to Los Angeles, and then I asked Miss Heard if she would please allow me
Hey, Tracy.
5 days, 7 days, whatever it took to get finished with the rest of this horrific detox and the pain.
Did Miss Heard give you that time?
She did, reluctantly, yes. I was immediately accused of throwing her out. I was accused of abandoning her. I was accused of not appreciating all that she had done to get me to this point where I was, which was kind of an interesting argument for me. I begged her, please, can I get a place?
I'm okay with Johnny rambling right here. I think he's such an amazing storyteller that people are probably captured by everything he's saying and the picture he's painting. And the more he talks and the more descriptions he shares, as long as this is, I feel like he's building this bond with the jury and they're going to believe everything he's saying.
About it.
Just a thought.
It was very necessary. So she did eventually leave for about five days or so, and I sat in after a few days, I sat in just a metal chair with one song on a loop.
Here comes the buffer.
That I could focus on the lyrics and the power of the song to help me get through it. And
we got some buffering, folks. No surprises today. I'm not a big astrology person, but is there something going on in the stars? Where Tosh just walked into the room. You want to say hi to everybody? First time, ladies and gentlemen, Tasha's first time saying hi on the Dave Neal Show. Come over. Oh, she got the vacuum out. Tasha's ready to go.
True?
Yeah, you've never been on the Dave Neal Show, right?
Wow, different
So-
background.
Oh, yes. You
I
didn't
like
even know we had a
this
different. You
background.
didn't even know we had a different background. All right, so we're buffering. We're going to. We're heading out of town, as you do. So when that happens, we got to vacuum the walls, the ceilings, the dog, the floor. What do you think of this Depp case? Have you been following it at all?
Not really.
You know, it's like it's dangerous because we have this crusade, which I believe is a good one, the believe all women idea, and everyone's worried that this case will mean people won't want to believe women after because nobody's believing Amber.
But we haven't heard from her yet.
Yeah,
Right?
no, not in the case. So the jury hasn't heard from her, but everybody who's followed it is like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that what he's saying is compelling, but until we've heard it all, I'm going to reserve judgment.
Oh, jury Tasha there, reserving judgment. Bruce says Tasha is a blue brick virgin. That's right. Bruce is our masonry expert here. Whenever I have a new brick background, I like to have Bruce inspect it just to make sure that it hits all the necessary mortar qualifications. All right, folks, let's try to get a different stream here because I'm pretty sure. Araceli says, ready for Hawaii? Not in the slightest bit ready for Hawaii. No. Let's exit that page and go live here and see if we've got it here. I don't know what's going on with the internet. I've got full stream on my end. So I think the problem is definitely, I'm just going to go ahead and blame other people here, but it looks like we have it back. So that was your Tasha update. No, we don't. We don't have it back. So does anyone have a stream that's working? Plum's mom says we need to believe boys, men too. However, when abuse is involved. Yeah, I think there's a difference between like systemically not believing women by saying like, oh, were you out drinking? What were you wearing? That type of thing versus, this is a court case here. This is a case where obviously there's more layers to just someone randomly believing someone just based on their gender here. This is obviously a lot more at play. And I think most smart people won't watch this and then not believe women. I don't think that would be the case. All right, so clearly there's an issue here if other live streams are having a problem. Let's give a look out for another Johnny Depp live stream here and see if we can find something. Let's go to NBC. No, they're having the issue too. It looks like everyone's having the same issue with live view. So the whole live stream's down. All right, so we'll just wait a few minutes and talk about a few other things. While we're waiting for that, I'm just going to continue to work. Brittany says CBS News. CBS News, and they are up. Thank you.
I went to Missouri and we knew we were going to do something on the island, but I decided or asked her, and we
Thank
both
you, guys.
agreed that her parents would come to my mom's house so that my mom could witness the wedding and be there and all that. So yeah, we held it at my mom's house for that reason. So there was my children were there, Ms. Hurd's family and friends, and so that was, yes, February 3rd, 2016.
And is that the ceremony that you mentioned or the celebration on the
Was
island?
it 15? I don't know. Sorry. I'm sorry, what was your question?
I said, is the date that you just mentioned, is that the actual ceremony or is that the date that you celebrated on the island?
No, the actual ceremony, the actual wedding that goes down on paper, it was February 3rd at my mom's, at Betty Sue's house, and then we all immediately left for the island for
So Susan says Amber's got a history of poor behavior in other relationships. excuse me, I don't know. We just lost this here. I don't know if that will. I don't know how that will play in, but of course, just messy. So many layers.
A couple of years before, I believe, and
Yeah, Johnny Stormy says this is honestly heartbreaking for all parties. The deal is as heartbreaking as it is, Johnny Depp is the one who's lost work. So he is the one who has had his career and name tarnished. So if he is not, 100% the aggressor here, and if we kind of find out that it's more just like a nasty, nasty situation, you'd like to think that he would be able to return to work. I think enough people want to see that happen. Let the box office decide, to be honest.
so we talked that, for example, that Miss Heard wanted for the wedding, and what she and Raquel had decided that they were going to design, or what the wedding was going to be like. At a certain point, Miss Heard was getting very, very.
Plum's mom says the arrest will come. Heard from a lawyer. What arrest? The arrest of whom?
She started to get very upset with Christy, my sister, and accused me and Christy of trying to slow the process.
Were you trying to slow the process?
No, I wasn't trying to slow the process, but what I couldn't understand was when Miss Heard and her friend Raquel Pennington had decided to take all that away from my sister, and then they jumped in and made sure
Your
that.
Honor. Testimony about what Ms. Pennington had decided is hearsay.
Overruled.
We can move on from
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Good one.
Directing you to the celebration on the island. Who was invited to that celebration?
Close friends, family, obviously. My father, my dad came. My son was there. He was my best man.
I'll be honest. I don't know if Johnny Depp is going to be okay for the cross-examination because he's already getting upset when they object, which is normal. Objections are normal.
She and Miss Heard were not on particularly great terms for several reasons. There were a number of Miss Heard's friends and her family. So I'd say all in all, maybe there were, seems like there could have been no more than 20 people, 25 people, maybe.
Was there any alcohol served at the wedding?
Yes, there was alcohol served at the wedding. There was champagne. There was all the accoutrements, and then yes.
And was anyone ingesting any illegal drugs at the wedding?
Yes.
And who was doing that?
Well, there was a schedule that was written out and printed out and sent out, so that everyone would know exactly the time that everything would happen.
Yes, I was muted. Sorry. I was talking to Tasha.
And on that
We got a lot going on in the household, folks.
well, there was like some kind of rehearsal type thing. There was also
If I'm Johnny Depp, so they're saying they're letting him ramble, but couldn't the other lawyers poke holes at everything he's saying? I think he believes in his heart of hearts that he's innocent, so he's just going to talk as much as they're going to let him. That's my belief.
Miss Pennington and Io Tillett Wright.
Mr. Depp, who did you observe taking drugs at the wedding?
a number of people were taking MDMA. As I said, the list, there was after the wedding, there was it was like dinner, dancing, and drugs on the schedule that came from Ms. Hurd and Ms. Pennington. So Amber, Raquel, a couple of friends of mine, Savannah, her assistant, Tillett Wright, all of her gang were all partaking of the MDMA.
What if any drugs did you take that day?
Again, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't know how much MDMA they had, but for me, that was for me to have taken MDMA would have been a waste of the drug. If you understand what I mean, it would have been essentially taking someone else's high, because it wouldn't have an effect on me.
So how many drugs did you actually take that day?
The day of our wedding,
Yes.
I smoked marijuana, and I don't remember drinking. I don't remember that I was drinking then. This was right. This was right before she was going to London to do, I believe, London Fields, and I was going off to Australia to do Pirates 5. I'm pretty positive at that point I wasn't partaking of alcohol.
Pretty positive.
My drug of choice is, or was, and it is marijuana. That was fine for me. So dipping into
All right, I'll be right back, guys.
a little tiny baggie of, licking your finger and dipping into a little tiny communal bag of MDMA.
By the way, I just posted a new Bachelor video.
It was pointless for me.
When you and Miss Hurd got married, did you have a prenuptial agreement in place?
No, we did not, no.
And why not?
There always seemed to be some
What did I just do?
reason or another why she wouldn't discuss it, or if we did discuss it, it became an issue that would turn into it would springboard into unpleasantness and then arguments. And then it was also too late. At a certain point, it was just too late. So then the idea of a post-nup agreement was brought up to Miss Hurd, and that was in Australia. That was the beginning of the Australian
Well, let's
fight.
talk about Australia then. But first of all, why were you in Australia?
I was working on Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
And who from your team was with you in Australia?
Jerry Judge, Malcolm Connolly, Nathan Holmes, Stephen Duders, Keenan Wyatt. I believe that was it. Oh, and yeah, no, that's it.
Was Miss Lloyd in Australia with you as well?
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. Miss Lloyd traveled to Australia with us.
And did Dr. Kipper come down to Australia at any point?
Yeah, Dr. Kipper came down a bit later.
Mr. Wyatt testified yesterday that he observed you have a meeting with Sean Bailey in Australia. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And could you please tell the jury who Sean Bailey is?
Sean Bailey, at that time, I believe he was the number three man at Disney in terms of hierarchy. He was upper echelon Disney, so he was under Bob Iger, and initially under Dick Cook, who was removed from Disney for some reason. So yes, he was number 3 man at Disney.
And why were you having a discussion with Mr. Bailey?
The discussions that I was having with Mr. Bailey, with Sean Bailey, were they had to do with, well, as I think we've established, I have always, from the beginning of that series of films, I had always rewritten my characters' words and jokes, if you will, and situational comedy and things that I would add. And Mr. Bailey was very complimentary about some of the things that I'd done. He'd come over to me laughing after
Objection.
a take.
Calls for hearsay.
Your Honor, this is just discussing generally what they were talking about.
He was getting specific. I'll sustain that if you want to continue. That's fine.
Mr. Depp, was Miss Heard in Australia with you?
She came a little later, yes.
Do you recall when she came down?
I don't recall. Well, no, I do recall. It was March. It was March.
And what happened when Miss Heard came to visit you in Australia?
Ms. Heard was upset because, as I stated earlier, as it was too late for a prenup agreement, there was discussion of post-nup agreement. And I had called my lawyer at the time and asked him if he could have one of his lawyers sit down with Ms. Heard and give her a basic rundown of what a postnuptial agreement meant, and I was told that they showed her.
Objection. Hearsay.
Your Honor, this is something he asked an attorney. It's not a statement of fact that's being offered for its truth.
Yeah, I'll sustain the objection. Okay. Next question.
What did Ms. Heard tell you she was upset about when she arrived in Australia?
Ms. Heard told me that the attorney that she met with was rude and dismissive and all she was being shown was an example of a postnuptial agreement. Ms. Hurd then stated to me that she was very upset. She stated to me that what she had said was, she said to the lawyer, the woman, that this Johnny can't, he must not, he doesn't know about this. He's never seen, he doesn't know that this is what this is. No way he would agree to this. And what Ms. Hurd then expressed to me was that the lawyer, the woman, had laughed at her and said, "Oh, he knows. Yes, he knows everything." Which sent her into a tailspin. So by the time she arrived in Australia, that was sunk very deep into her psyche. I mean, so much so that what really surprised me was that she kept saying, "I'm not even in your will. I'm not even in your will." I thought that was an odd thing to say. Especially since I don't think anybody had had time to change wills or anything of that nature. So those things just didn't, it felt wrong. And she could not let go of the fact that I was in on this post-nup agreement, and that I was trying to trick her into essentially getting nothing if something were to happen.
And how did you respond to Ms. Hurd?
So I just told her those are not my intentions, you know. And at a certain point, you don't know what to do. I mean, it's the person is telling you, she's telling you, you don't trust me, you don't trust me, you don't trust me, and I can't speak about legal documents. I can't speak legalese. I can't explain to her these things. All I could do was try to calm her down and say that I was not out to screw her over or put her in a position that was uncomfortable.
Did that work?
These were stock, normal things to do. It did not work, no. It escalated and escalated and turned into madness, chaos,
Can you please
violence.
Can you please describe that chaos and violence?
Yes, she was irate. She was irate, and she was possessed. And when I tried to remove myself, as I normally would from a situation, and that is to say, you know, as she's hammering me with sort of brutal words and I don't, pardon my language, but I remember that it wasn't nice sort of being called an ass kisser to lawyers or a pussy that didn't fight for her or stand up for her. I, again, tried to remove myself from the situation, but to no avail. As I literally, the house that they had rented for me in Australia was quite a large place. It was quite a bit of a labyrinth, and a lot of rooms, a lot of extra rooms. So I would go to, well, I'll just cut to the chase. I think that I ended up locking myself in about at least 9 bedrooms, bathrooms that day, as she was banging on the doors and screaming obscenities and wanting to have a physical altercation.
So how did it come to be that your finger became injured?
There was at one point where I'd stayed in one of the, sitting on a bathroom floor, door locked, she's banging away, screaming, blah, 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 and then
Okay. Much apologies here. Trying to run an empire. It says I'm connected to the iPhone. Is it because the iPhone is connected to Wi-Fi? No, it's not the iPhone. So I don't know what's going on, folks. I tried to step away. This feels like an
My apologies. I couldn't what you said.
What the heck is that? My Siri's going off. Let's exit the page here and find out what the heck is going on. Guys, I don't know. I tried to like step away for 2 minutes. How frustrating. All right. Give me a quick second here, folks. All right. This is just garbage. I was just talking to my fiance about these issues that we're having. It's just so unacceptable. I don't know if my streaming issues with you guys.
Was out of town, coming back in and leaving.
This is not today. I don't know if my streaming issues are my internet or the court case.
He's essentially a house, sort of an estate manager, and we.
How long was my stream off?
He's a wonderful guy, so I brought Ben along to Australia to manage
Law and Crime Network.
Everything. He's very Ben King was he's essentially a house, sort of an estate manager, and we worked together in London a few times, and Jerry, yeah, they were there.
No, that's not. That's not.
So I brought Ben along to Australia to manage everything.
This is probably gonna be it for me, guys. I'm kind of just, as you guys know, running an independent channel like this comes with its issues, and one of them being the fact that no matter what we try to do, like right now, I've been tethered to my iPhone, and I'm still having issues.
King was he's essentially a house, sort of an estate manager, and we.
So you guys can't properly understand the level of anger that this makes me feel.
Ben
losing my mind.
To Australia to
my internet speed's really good.
King was he's essentially a house.
Like what the hell?
Was he's essentially a house, sort of an estate manager, and we worked together.
This is the only channel I've got.
Times, and he's a wonderful guy, so I brought Ben along.
Should be on 5G right now. All right, let's get through this Nutrisystem commercial and then see if it's fixed. Oh, guys. Thanks, Tracy. I mean, it's just like, I was just talking to Tasha. It's like, I want to get on the phone with my internet provider, but at the same time, I'm working all day, every day. Like, you know, you get on the phone with them literally for 8 hours and nothing gets accomplished. I wish there was a, competitor that we could go to, but I don't see these issues. I haven't seen these issues because I haven't been live streaming. So let's just find another Johnny Depp here. I'm probably not going to cover this much longer. It's like the video's already demonetized. So I've got two. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been live streaming at all with, it being Bachelor off season, and I wanted to kind of get you guys into some new content here. But it's just, boatloads of atrocities. I'm connected to my iPhone. All right, anything. I don't expect they'll agree to it. I just, it's it'll be good if they do, but if they don't, no hard feelings. All right, I disconnected my cell phone from the Wi-Fi, which will probably fix the issue. Let me just make sure I'm tethered here. And then Sprint? You mean like a internet, like home internet? I think Sprint is now owned by T-Mobile. My internet should be coming back now. That we should have good internet now.
I see a detail that I'd forgotten, which is the Ms. Hurd had taken my cigarette. I see a detail that I'd forgotten.
Yeah, we haven't had any issues with live streaming on the Patreon. It does make you wonder if this is how this would differ. Let's do I might be calling it quits. Some days, to be just quite honest, some days it just ain't working.
Oh, the first.
So let's go. So the fact that it can't even play this advertisement, I mean, guys, honestly, this makes me want to throw a baseball bat through a window. This is atrocious right now. There is nothing going on my computer that should warrant this sort of issue. I've watched we built up 75 people watching, just trying to grow the channel. I mean, these videos are already demonetized. So I'm like, why don't I go fuck myself? Making bacon right now. I can't even play the ad. These are multiple different streams.
From Ms. Hurd taking my cigarette.
Yikes, look at these photos.
And, this is after the finger had gone away. And she stubbed it out in my face and on my cheek. And, from
Nicole knows the struggle.
Taking my
the troubleshooting. It's like, no, come over here and troubleshoot it yourself before I throw a router at you.
Finger had gone away, and she stubbed it out in my face and on my cheek. And, from Ms. Hurd taking my cigarette, and this is after the finger had gone away, and she stubbed it out in my
All right, this
face.
isn't. I have to go, guys, because this isn't good for you guys. This is not to mention we only have 29 people watching. All right, folks, go catch this stream somewhere else. I'm so wildly upset that I can't do a very basic task here. I'm personally interested in this. I'm gonna make a video. I mean, fuck this. It's already demonetized. All right, this is just an issue that's not gonna resolve itself right now, and I don't want to put you guys through it any further. So that's gonna be it for me. I will have more content coming to you guys on the Bachelor channel, and maybe I'll have a update here on this channel as well. But this doesn't do us any good. All right, folks. If this is your first time watching me, it gets better, but this ain't it. Just read some of your comments. Much love to all you guys. I have my second video up on the Bachelor channel right now. I just posted it maybe half an hour ago. We got laundry and bacon and all the prep we need to do for our vacation. Just trying to get some extra content out here. Sometimes you do these live streams and it helps the YouTube algorithm promote the channel more, because we're not really getting any real boost on the Bachelor. On the content here for Johnny Depp stuff. Like the last 3 videos I've made were demonetized and then remonetized, but by the time they were remonetized, they were virtually completely gone. So anyway, like I said, I'll be in the comment section on the other videos. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do a Patreon live if I can figure that out. But in the meantime, thanks for all the love, guys. No one's fault here, but I need to figure this out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.